Hello, my name is Patrick Witzel. This is my final project for digital forensics. I'm calling this PsTrace. It's a plugin for Volatility. As we all know, Volatility is a framework for live memory analysis. You can take a dump of the live memory of a system, and then you can perform different kinds of analysis on it with Volatility. Volatility is plugin based, so you use different plugins like PsList, ModDump, or MalFind to look for different things and artifacts on the system. For example, PsList looks for all the processes that are on this that are running in the live memory. ModDump will dump all of the modules that are associated with a process, and MalFind will look for malware in memory. Another thing about Volatility is that it's open source and community driven. So it's really the community that takes Volatility and extends it and then gives it back to the open source project. And that's why we have all these cool plugins for Volatility that do all these really nice analysis things. So my plugin is PsTrace. It's a plugin for gathering information about a process quickly. So again, my motivation was to make a quicker and easier analysis of live memory dumps, and to have my plugin do less searching through, or to allow the analyst to do less searching through multiple plugin outputs. So PsTrace kind of takes a bunch of different outputs and consolidates them all into one. Windows 7, Service Pack 0, and Service Pack 1 are the platforms that this will run on. And down here we can see how you run PsTrace in Volatility. And there's a few, so you can see after the -p, there's a couple process IDs that are being passed into it, and those are the ones that will be analyzed. So now it's time for a demo. And after this demo is over, we will possibly take a quick look at the code, and I will try to explain a little bit how Volatility plugins are structured. So first I'm going to look in this my samples directory here, and let's see, decide which one I want to use. All of these are taken from Windows 7 virtual machines, where I had a few things running on them to try to simulate an actual live system. What am I doing? Vol.py. There we go. So now I'll use -f to pass in one of these guys. I'm going to go with virtual Win7. And I'll check out each of them and see what's on them. And then you have to specify the profile, which is they're all Win7 Service Pack 1, x86. And then, let's see, I'm just do PsList to check out what's running on this one. And I think I want to use one of these has WinSCP running on it. That's the one that I want. Here we go. Okay, so this one is WinSCP running on it. So we'll check that one out. We'll check out the WinSCP, and then we'll check out this Chrome process, and maybe another one, and we'll see what goes on. So we use PsTrace -p, and we can pass in 2248 and 2948, and then we'll do 4, like I have in my slide. So now this takes a little bit of time. You could output this to a file, and I think that actually makes it easier if you do that. So once this is done, I will walk through what these outputs mean and what's going on here. And it's just about, there we go. Now it's finished. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. Scroll up to the top. Okay, and as we can see here, it first took process ID 4, which was system. It shows us the base address, the spawning PID, and it would show us the command line arguments that are passed in if there were any, and the version if there was one. And we'll see that in the other processes that were analyzed. First, it shows threads. So these are all the threads that were spawned. by system, and there's quite a few for this one. This is all the networking that's going on. This is most of these, probably all of them, are not actually being used by system. They're being used by something else. Because the way my plugin works is if it cannot figure out what process was running this networking, it just kind of dumps it into all of them, which could be good or could be bad. So here's Chrome, and here's the command line argument that was passed in, and then we can see that it's the Service Pack 1 version of Chrome. And again, here's all the threads that were spawned by this, all of the networking, and then here's all of the loaded modules that Chrome has loaded in order to do its thing. And here's WinSCP, we got the same thing, command line arguments, version, networking, and modules. Okay, so I'm going to go open up the code here. So the first thing you have to do in Volatility is you need to import a bunch of things. And you can import from other plugins that other people have written, so you can extend their functionality, like Task Mods. Task Mods was written by someone else, and I've just taken advantage of some of the functionality they've made. And at the top here, what you usually have is you have your pool scanners, which are actually scanning memory and looking for different artifacts. And you can look for the tags and the sizes and other indicators that certain objects are in memory. And then down here, you have your class that actually does all of the heavy lifting with the calculate function. And basically what this does is it's scanning through memory and it yields a bunch of data, which is what we see over here in the terminal, is all the data being yielded. And then render text does all of your output for you. So that's a really quick rundown of what Volatility does, or how to write a Volatility plugin. So that's my final project. Thanks everyone for listening.